Now, in order to talk about how we find these green coefficients in a faster way, we need to introduce a new thing called a factorial. A factorial is this exclamation mark, and it basically means multiply all the numbers up to that number together. So, to show you an example 4, I'm going to do this for 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0 factorial, 1 factorial, 2 factorial, 3 factorial, 4 factorial, 5 factorial. Now, 0 factorial is always just defined as 1, always. 1 factorial is also 1. 2 factorial is 1 times 2, which would be 2. 3 factorial would be 1 times 2 times 3, which would be 6. 4 is 1 times 2 times 3 times 4, which would be 24. And 5 would be 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5, which would be 120. But that's how the factorial works. Anytime you see this exclamation mark, that means factorial, and that means that you just multiply all the numbers up to that number. Now, the cool thing about a factorial is your calculator does have a factorial button. If you have a Casio, the button is right above this X -1 button. And it's the X exclamation mark in yellow. So if you type in 5, and then you do Shift X -1, that gives you 5 factorial, and you can hit Enter and get 120 just like we just did. If you have the TIs, the factorial button is the third button down right here. You'll see the little exclamation mark. So I can hit 5, and then I can hit that button, gives me 5 exclamation mark, 5 factorial, hit Enter, and I get 120, just like I did in my answer here. So your calculator does have a factorial button. You can type most of these into your calculator. I will show you when we get down to example D, 5D, that this one doesn't work in your calculator because the numbers get too big. As you've noticed here when we did these ones, the numbers get really big really fast. So here we have 9 minus 3 factorial, which would be 6 factorial, which I would then just type into my calculator to get 720. Now, 5 factorial over 2 factorial, you could just type this into your calculator. However, if you see an example here, you could also see that it simplifies. 5 factorial will be 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5. 2 factorial is 1 times 2. And then I have 1 and 2's on top and bottom that cancel. So I really just get 3 times 4 times 5, which is 60. So you can just type that into your calculator, or you can simplify it like that. Same thing with C. You can just type this into calculator as is, or you can simplify it. There's 10 factorial over 8 factorial. And you'll see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 all cancel. So this is really just 9 times 10, which is 90. So same thing here. You could have typed it into your calculator like that, or you can think of simplifying it. Now, D, if you try to type this one into your calculator, you'll notice very quickly your calculator gives you an error because the numbers are too big. So this one you have to simplify by hand. So 100 factorial, I'm just going to shorten dot, dot, dot to 97. Let's do 96 times 97 times 98 times 99, 100. All over 97 factorial. Dot, 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 96 times 97 times 3 factorial. And then we cancel what we can. So all of this will cancel up through 97. None of this is going to cancel. So I end up with 98 times 99 times 100 over 1 times 2 times 3, which is 161,700. So that is a little introduction to what a factorial is. In the next video, we'll introduce what a binomial coefficient is. And remember, all of this new stuff is building up to learning how to get these green coefficients in a faster way, in a way that your calculator will just give them to you. So the first thing we need to learn to get that is the factorial. The next thing we need to learn is the binomial coefficient. And then we'll talk about the shortcut to get those green coefficient numbers.